Hi, everyone. This is Eliza, and I am the Director of Counseling at McLean Bible. And I am here today with Brett and Lisa Corade from Preparing for Marriage. Hi, guys. So good to see
Hey,
you.
how you doing?
And I invited them to share with you all just a little bit about preparing for marriage and what it is. And so I'll just kind of hand it over to you guys. And first of all, I'd love for you guys just to kind of share a little bit of who you are and what got you interested or what your heart is for serving in PFM.
Sure.
Absolutely. You want to start?
I'll start. Lisa Corrade, like she said, and Brett and I have been married for 26 years. We're a military family, and about year 10, we were we hit the skids as far as our marriage was
Yep.
concerned, and the Lord, at that time, neither one of us were Christians, and during that trial, the Lord brought us both down to our knees, and we were able to accept Christ at that time, and we grew closer in our relationship. And in doing that, we were able to build a much stronger marriage together for the next 15 or 16 years
now.
now.
Yeah.
And because of that, we wanted to be able to share um, some of those trials and some of that wisdom that we had learned being a newly married couple struggling. We wanted to be able to help other people that could have been going through these situations. So we had a heart for helping young couples, and we wanted to kind of straighten out their path so it's not as rocky as our path was, and just give back to the Christian community.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. That's great. Great. Brett, why don't you tell us a little bit about why you're serving, or if that's pretty much
Yeah.
the story. And then there's a little bit about like, what is it and what can young couples expect?
Sure. Yeah. Uh, so why do we serve? Because this is why do we serve in this specific capacity? Because God's got a really cool habit of using things that we break for His glory in really big ways if we have the courage to put shame aside and like just trust that He's going to use it. Right. So when we almost got divorced literally on our 10th anniversary, the night of our 10th anniversary, we almost called it quits. And it was pretty shameful for us for about a year. And that's during that ensuing 12 months is where He put us each on our knees and then resurrected our marriage. And pretty quickly after that, He used that situation in the lives of 3 different couples who had no idea that we had gone through this, because like I said, we were very closed about it.
Mm-hmm.
So dear friends of ours who were Phil and Paige, who I flew with back in the day when I was still before I retired, they called and basically they said, "Hey, I know it's been a couple of years, but we're in a really bad spot, and we'd really like it if you could help." Like,
Wow.
who calls somebody like that, right?
Yeah.
And so that was the first one, and then family member called and came to visit and said, "Yeah, we're thinking about getting divorced," like just totally out of the blue. And so that was another one. And then we were actually on our first vacation, like true vacation ever, a year 11 and a half or so, or maybe just under anyway. And we're in Mexico, and we're sitting in the lobby just playing checkers, hanging out. And the couple sitting next to us at the game table next to us, literally the guy leans over and goes, "Hey, are you guys Christians?" Like totally cold, had nothing going on. And Lisa and I are like, "Yeah." And he turns around and to his wife and he goes, "I told you." And so we wind up striking this conversation up with them, and they were leaving the next day, but we talked long enough to realize that we were both in Atlanta. I was stationed in North Atlanta with this special mission squadron with the Navy, and they lived in East Atlanta. And before we saw him off the next day from the lobby, and the wife grabbed Lisa and she's like, "You think you could come over for dinner? Because like we're in a really bad spot, and we'd love to
Wow.
talk to you, like in Mexico, people that are literally 45 minutes away from us stumble into us. They
Wow.
see the Lord's fingerprints on our life, and they ask for help in a way that we are very clearly equipped because of our own first 10 years of brokenness and living in for the flesh, right?
Wow.
So,
So a real call that God has had on your own marriage
Oh, sure.
to help
yeah,
marriage.
yeah,
Yeah. And less than a year before, we were in the
we were
same
right there.
spot.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
no,
so tell us a little bit about PFM and like what young couples, because this is really for preparing for marriage, just for people who are not yet married, right? Or going into marriage. What can
Absolutely.
couples expect? What tell us a little bit about it.
The first thing that they can expect is very straight, honest conversations about marriage. There's very little powdered sugar in the curriculum. So the way it's set up is to be a very close knit experience for the engaged couples. So it's an 8 week course, and sometimes that has to be adjusted a little bit if there's a remarriage going on. So one of the people has been previously married. There's another 2 weeks where they talk specifically about integrating families and things along those lines.
Okay.
Um, so that one's 10 weeks, but basically it's an 8 week course. It's each Wednesday evening from 7 till 9, from 7 to about 8:15 ish. It depends on the topic. There's some teaching that happens, right? So we've got some phenomenal teachers, just people that have been either in counseling with married couples as a Christian counselor for literally decades, or pastors who are specifically gifted and just have a heart for counseling engaged married couples. So there's a teaching element, and then each couple is seated at a table, usually with 2 or 3 other engaged couples, and then one coaching couple. So, so the coaching couple is somebody who's been married for a while, has kind of gone through some of the more sticky spots in their own relationships with the Lord and with their relationships with their spouse. So they come from a place of experience, and they come from a place of love, and it's it's topical. So we talk about finances, we talk about roles in marriage, we talk about sex, like and that's 2 weeks, right? So it's a very open, direct, honest conversation about sex. Like, and the kind of the true funny way of saying it is, if you can't get honest, straight conversations about sexual intimacy from people in the church, where are you supposed to get true conversations about that, right?
Right. Well, Brett, I'm wondering if we either just are about to get a whole bunch of people signed up, or but I think this is just so encouraging, because what I'm hearing is they get not just the teaching, but they get that more intimate connection with the coaches on these subjects as well, and that mentoring that happens. So if there's young couples out there who are watching this, who are in that engagement period or thinking about marriage, how can they get connected to PFM at McLean Bible Church?
Sure. So there's a website. Everything has a website, right? So McLeanBible.org/PFM, preparing for marriage, PFM, McLeanBible.org/PFM. And there's all kinds of information there. You can reach out via there. We are always open to direct phone calls and emails as well. This is not something we do for the church. This is what we do because God has told us, this is what I want you to do with all of the bruises that I let you accumulate for 10 years, right? This is the way I want you to glorify me and build my kingdom, is by being open about your walk with others. So go to the website, reach out to Lisa and I. Other coach couples, like there's all kinds of resources. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, we are going to put all that information in our notes below, and so people can get connected there. And I just want to thank you guys both I just really see how God has used your own marriage and your own brokenness in a way that just brings him glory and helps lay the foundation for couples who are just starting out on their own journey. And what a gift that is to these young couples. So Thank you so much for the way you guys are serving. And thank you for taking some time just to give us a little snippet of what PFM looks like. So it was great having you today. Thank you guys so much.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Thank
Eliza.
you.
All right.